Hello, heroes. Welcome this week to the Storied Coaching Podcast. I have just gotten back from the most amazing week. Any of you that have kids know how amazing it is to have dedicated one-on-one time with your significant other. Even if you don't have kids and you get a chance to go away with a good friend one-on-one or with your partner, and you get to spend time just together and you get to remember how much you enjoy each other. Especially when you're a parent with the constant interruption of kids and them asking for things while you're trying to have a conversation, or just being able to go and do what you want when you want it without having to find someone's shoes. These are all things that I really appreciate now that I'm older. And I had the best time with my wife. We went down to Mexico. We got this amazing little Airbnb that was perfect for us. It was like our own little mini compound, and it had this like cold tub because, it's so hot there. And this was in La Paz, which is just south of Baja. And we were there for a whole week. And we spent time between just being there and reading and talking about things and our dreams and about what we want to do and how grateful we are for what has happened to us on our journey so far, especially since this was an anniversary trip. We've been together for 23 years officially as married, and a couple years on top of that as knowing each other, and how grateful we were for this journey that we've been on together, even though there have been so many times that it has been uncertain. Uncertainty can pop up in so many places in our lives, in our relationships. How is something going to turn out? Is this the right one? Should I marry this person? Should I be in a long-term relationship with them? Should we have kids? What's going to happen if we have kids? What'll happen with career? If I'm an entrepreneur, am I going to be able to balance all these plates? There's so many things that go on in our brains, especially for leaders and entrepreneurs, about uncertainty. And I've noticed a common thread throughout high performers that I work with and that I coach with. And I know this because, as one of my good friends says, if you spot it, you got it. As a fellow A-type personality, I want to not just be certain, I want to choose the right path. I don't want uncertainty. I don't like the way that it feels. I've talked to so many people that feel the same way. As entrepreneurs, sometimes we can get stuck in this swirl of uncertainty where we're getting ready to get ready. And we just seem to stay in this endless loop, this stasis loop that keeps us from moving forward because we don't want to make the wrong decision. And this is such a human thing to experience. There's nothing wrong with you when you feel this. In fact, if you're an entrepreneur and you don't feel this from time to time, I feel like you are not human. You may be an android. You might need to check out whether or not your parents are telling you the truth about the fact that you were actually born, because this is something that we all deal with, especially leaders, especially entrepreneurs, because there's so many choices at any given time, right? And especially now with where we are, with technology evolving at such a fast pace, and with the way that we live and the way that culture is right now, especially in Western society, it seems like you need to make faster and faster choices all the time. And it can feel often like if you make the wrong choice, that everything is over for you. And so I wanted to talk about this today because I want to make friends with uncertainty. I want you to be able to feel like, hey, I might not know what the crystal ball is going to show me for my future self. In my hero story, the outcome and the result that I want to move towards, I'm going to get there no matter what, but the journey itself may look very, very different from the picture I have in my head. In our heads, a lot of times we pick out a linear journey. Like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to set up this course, or I'm going to make this offering for my clients, or we're going to build this software technology, and then this is going to happen with the marketing department, and then this is going to happen with sales, and then we're going to hit this threshold, and then we're going to pour gasoline on the fire, and then we're going to go ahead and invite a bunch more people. And like, it just seems like you plan in a linear fashion, but it never goes according to plan. Never, ever, ever. You always need to adapt and change as you go. And for a lot of us entrepreneurs, that is our superpower. The fact that through uncertainty, you can still make choices and not be paralyzed. Choose not to get paralyzed because you make a mistake, or that it just didn't turn out the way that you wanted. Sometimes you make the best choice that you can with the information that you're given. And in 2020 hindsight, you should have chosen a different path, but you never knew. There's no way you could have known that unless you had gone along the path and experienced whether it worked or whether it didn't work. The best entrepreneurs that I know, the ones that I look up to, they are experimenting constantly. And guess what? They get it wrong so often. A mentor of mine and someone whose program who I've actually been in, Corinne Crabtree, she's fantastic. She started out in weight loss and has done very, very well there, helping women lose like over 100 pounds at a time. And she had her own journey there that she went through as well. And she's helped thousands of people do that. But as a coach, she's also recently opened up a new part of her business where she's helping entrepreneurs, specifically women entrepreneurs. She was very nice and let me in as well because I wanted to try out her program because I love everything she does. And she has been trying out different ways of filling her course, of filling her, it's a community membership. So filling that membership. And I love that she just is super open about the fact that she's uncertain a lot of the time. She's like, I have no effing idea if this is going to work. I'm going to try it. And she tries it, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And of course, she doesn't feel great about the fact that it doesn't work, but she doesn't let it stop her from measuring and being, putting on her lab coat as a scientist with her whiteboard and going, okay, so what did I try? What went well? What did I learn that I can apply to my next experiment? And then she moves forward through uncertainty. And the thing is, as entrepreneurs, the ones that don't make it, that I have seen not make it, are the ones that tell themselves that if they make a mistake, that it's deadly, that it means they're not good at this, they're not good business people, and that they should stop. And they stop because they either feel personal embarrassment or they feel embarrassment in front of other people. They feel like everyone was watching and everyone saw them fail. And P.S., hardly anyone is paying attention to you. They're too wrapped up in the things that they're trying to do. But we make it so personal that we chose the wrong thing, that we launched a new course, or that we tried to pivot and do a new product and it didn't go exactly the way that we wanted, and we need to change it now, or maybe go towards something completely different. And what I want to impress upon you here is that this is normal, and this is just what being a leader and an entrepreneur is. In fact, I spent a lot of years myself trying to outrun or outsmart the fact that I was going to feel vulnerable and crappy when I failed. So I wanted everything to be a sure bet. I wanted to be really good at something before I attempted to sell it or do it for anyone. And some of you might be nodding your head. You wanted to be the best at that thing before you went ahead and did it. And that's not what you need to be able to do. You need to be able to offer your clients, your potential clients, value in the form of the fact that you know how to do something at least one step ahead of where they're at. Only one step. You don't need to know every single thing through the end of time, especially now because there's so many things to learn and adapt and change at any given time. In order to serve your clients at a high level, you will constantly be changing to meet their needs in a different way. And so I want you to start giving yourself the grace as well to be okay with being uncomfortable in uncertainty and realizing there's nothing broken about you. There's nothing you need to change, and you're not doing it wrong just because you feel uncertain about it. In fact, this is part of the hero's journey that I talk about. Whenever we go on a hero's journey, the classic hero's journey, there are several phases where uncertainty is where the hero is living right now. There are some particular phases of the hero's journey that have this in a very acute way, especially in the refusal of the call, which is right after the hero has decided to go on an adventure. There's always this step that is the refusal of the call to action, where they're like, you know what, that sounds hard and that's scary. And it's maybe crappy right now with where I'm at in my life, but that is scary. And like I could die, whether that's metaphorically or literally in some cases with the hero's journey. And so uncertainty is a big thing that happens there. And then it shows up again in a really, really big way once you get to the point that we call the approach to the cave. That's where you've maybe met your mentor, you've started to do the work, you've started to go on some of these adventures to try this new personality or these new traits and these new skill sets out for yourself, or maybe this new product for your customers. But you're about to hit the launch button. And before you hit the launch button or whatever, you're going to feel that wave of uncertainty, the approach to the cave. Because after the cave is the actual ordeal. When you launch a new program, when you launch a new product, when you start a new business, now it's for real. And then you're just doing things. But that big breath before it actually happens, full of uncertainty a lot of times. You're not doing it wrong. It's just that as an entrepreneur, you're called on to have the bravery to push through uncertainty, to grab uncertainty by the hand and go, I know this isn't guaranteed, but I don't want to live a life on my deathbed of regrets of not taking this leap and always wondering what would have happened if I did. And wondering that even if things had gone wrong and been bumpy along the way, if I would have been able to overcome them and get to where I want to go and get the results that I want for myself and my family and my business. So embrace that uncertainty. It's so counterproductive for you to stay in that stasis, in that cocoon, instead of taking moves forward. Our job as leaders and entrepreneurs is to make decisions in uncertainty. That is the intangible trait that a lot of CEOs and the best leaders have, is that in uncertainty, they have to live there a lot of the time. It's not that they're smarter than everyone else. It's that they go ahead and they give themselves a specific set of time to gather information, gather 2 or 3 options that could be the best course of action in order to move to the next stage, decide on one that seems the best at the time, and move forward as a leader through uncertainty so that your people see you and follow you. That's your job. And it's not comfortable so much of the time. But leaders and entrepreneurs, your teams need you to do this constantly in order for your business to thrive and for them to be able to do their jobs so that they can be certain about the tasks they need to accomplish to try this out, to try out this path that you're leading them through, even if you have to adjust along the way. If it ends up being a dead end, then you make another decision and you move forward. And try as little as possible to beat yourself up that you didn't get it right on time number 1 or time number 2 or time number 3. That's when it's really hard, by the way. Time number 3, ouch. But you have to keep going anyway and not just go into your tortoise shell and decide that you're going to hide, because now you're not going to get anywhere. Learn from your mistakes, figure out what worked, what didn't work. Like a scientist, try to detach yourself as much as possible from it and move forward anyway. So the cure for moving forward, or the cure for uncertainty, is always that forward momentum, that forward moving action. In fact, I need to hear this so often that I have a bracelet that I have worn every day for the last 10 years. And all it says on it is forward. Any of you that have gotten a personal email from me, at the bottom signature line, it says forward. It is a mantra for me, not because I feel like I'm the best at it, but because I know that that is the only way to make progress. There is no going back and creating mistakes and uncreating them in a time machine. I've tried, I've looked at the technology, we just don't have it available to us. So the only thing to do is to stay in the moment and move forward through that uncertainty and through that scarcity feelings and fear. There's nothing wrong with you that it feels uncomfortable, nothing at all. So whether it's the marketing plan that you're looking at and you want to implement for your business, here is the formula for all of this. Keep it this simple. I swear I do this and it really helps. Spend 30 minutes, set a timer, 30 minutes exploring, if you're looking at a marketing plan, which one do you want to go with? Do you want to go with a challenge? Do you want to go with a webinar? Do you want to go with doing another marketing plan that you want to do with social? Pick one, narrow it down to 2 or 3, decide on the one that feels the best at the moment with the information that you have, move forward. Even though you feel uncertain, you can adjust later, but don't allow yourself to take any more time than that. Just keep moving forward and put one step in front of the other. If you are not sure which coaching program you want to join, go ahead and look at someone, 2 or 3 people that you feel like are a good match for you. Go ahead and do a little research on them for 30 minutes. Choose one, sign up for 1 or 2 months, see how it works. If it's working, great, keep moving forward. If it's not, tell them you're going to keep looking and then choose the next one and then try that. Don't allow yourself to stay in inaction because you don't know which coach or which mentor to go with. Because now you don't have one and now you're not moving forward at all. It's essential that you do this. And for business, it's the same formula. Which pivot should we take? Well, we could do this or this, A or B. This one seems like the best right now. Let's go for it. Let's give ourselves X amount of time on it and measure the results. How are we going to measure it? Great. Let's move forward. If it doesn't work, no one's getting fired. No one is getting beat up or beating themselves up. We're not going to point fingers and scapegoat. We're trying this out as a team, as scientists. And we're going to figure out what works and what doesn't work. And so often the real work is just getting through the fact that so many times it's not going to work until it does. And being the kind of leader that does not decide to scapegoat people and that says, hey, I wanted to try this. You move forward with it. You did what I asked. It didn't work. Not because you suck, but because we have to operate in some uncertainty as business owners and as leaders in order to move forward and make progress. And that is just the reality that we live in. So that essential thing is that you keep moving forward. Don't stay in getting ready to get ready, because staying in inaction and uncertainty, nothing's going to happen. And guess what? It was never certain that you would get to this point from the beginning anyway. Where you are right now and all the decisions you had to go through, so many of the hero's journeys that you've already been on to get to this version of yourself right now are not because are not only built on the successes that you've had and of the times that you won and that you got it right. A lot of who you are and the character that you've built is from the failures and the taking of those key lessons from those failures that you then apply in a different way to a different path in order to ultimately get to where you want to go. Don't discount the failures from uncertainty as well. All right, my friends, move forward through uncertainty. Do it with the spirit of knowing that no matter how it turns out, nothing will happen if you stay where you are and decide to hide. All right, my friends, have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to you next week.